Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and on this episode of The Haul, I have the absolute pleasure of reviewing, walking around, and driving the new 2019 Silverado LT. What we have in the shop here today, again, is the LT, but it also is the All-Star Edition. So while we walk around and talk about all of the new things for the new generation Silverado, I will be highlighting everything you would expect from the All-Star Edition. Before we get into that, I want to say a huge thank you to our friends at Patriot Chevrolet for being so generous to let me talk about this badass truck next to me today. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You want to stay up to date on all things 2019 Silverado. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting here on the driver's side, I wanted to start highlighting these brand new redesigned headlights. If you remember the 2018 models, that was split in the middle by the grille. Now it's actually the fender coming in underneath of your headlight design. You have this 3-bar redesigned light here that's got a really nice material on the inside that almost looks like it would be carbon fiber. You're getting LED lighting, so it's really bright. Right underneath it is one of my absolute favorite parts of the front end. This running light here that comes around the fender is really sharp. Underneath of that, you're getting your turn signal, and that is going to be complemented by that new grille redesign. Previous gens, of course, had that split in the middle, but it did not offer vents in the middle here. That's going to be a better solution for airflow. The grille also has that textured plastic on the top. Of course, this is a part of that LT and the All-Star Edition package. Moving down, however, we unfortunately still have to look at that chrome bumper. I think it would have looked really sharp matched to that Havana brown metallic, but of course we'll have to reserve that for some of the other trim packages. You get that new styling and design on your front bumper, relocating your fog lights from what used to be up in this area of your bumper down low to that valance area. That All-Star Edition does not come with fog lights from the factory. As you can see, it's got that plastic delete here. You have your tow hooks almost in the exact same location as your previous gen, and moving down to that chin splitter. That's where your ground clearance issues are gonna come into play. You're still getting that 8.9 inches of ground clearance, the same exact as the previous gen. So if you're taking this off-road, if you're taking this to your work site, without a lift on your truck, this does pose a threat to damaging that lower chin splitter. Now, if you remember those Trail Boss models, that comes with the lift from the factory. That greatly improves your front end ground clearance, and it comes with bigger wheels and tires. The hood has been shortened up and pushed back. We're no longer getting that individual trim piece that we got from the previous gens. It's a lot sleeker, and the hood comes fully down, touching the headlight and the grille. It doesn't have that big bulge in the middle from previous gens. Instead, it's got nice aerodynamic cutouts that'll shoot that wind straight up the windshield, which again has also been tilted back. The last and one of the more important things for the front that'll bring us into the wheel wells, completely functional vents. This is going to help streamline that airflow for better aerodynamics, ultimately helping with fuel mileage straight around this oval or circular wheel well. That is the big upgrade I want to point out right now. This is a huge stride forward for the Silverado lineup. I know a lot of guys out there want to throw a bigger wheel and tire package in those previous gen wheel wells, which are squared off, but this new circular design here, this rounded design, is allowing for a 33-inch tire to be on this truck from the factory. What you see here is a 275/60/20 Bridgestone tire. Translating that into inches, that is exactly a 33-inch tire. That's not something we've seen on previous gens. Under the 33s, you're getting that 20-inch wheel. This is that premium alloy wheel that has that machined gray finish on the face. This is specific to our All-Star Edition package. Base model Silverado, you'd be looking at 18-inch wheels wrapped in a 32.2-inch tire. I'm excited to see what the aftermarket world is gonna provide. With a lift kit like a 3 to 4-inch lift, it'll open up a lot of new possibilities on our Silverado. Taking a closer look at the sides here, we're starting at the body line that's gonna pull back from the headlight end. Moving toward the door here, we see that kind of cut down, giving you a nice aerodynamic flow for the side of your 2019. Mirrors didn't get too much of an update. You're seeing a little bit more of a textured black finish on the back. The chrome accent trim, again, this would be color matched on the LTZ and other trim packages like that. They spent a lot of time focusing on weight savings. That's going to include aluminum, steel, and high strength steel for all of the body panels. All of the swing panels would include your doors, your hood, your tailgate, anything that would open and close. All of them are made with an aluminum material. Now, where you would find your steel materials would be up here on the front with your fenders, your roof, and the body panels on the side wheelbase of your truck bed. All of the weight savings from all the material mixtures that Chevy has built into the new model shaves off 450 pounds. Moving down the side here before we get into the bed, I wanted to point out one thing. Because I do have the Silverado's keys in my pocket, it does have that keyless entry. You can push the button on the side door handles, and it's conveniently on all 4 of the handles. So if the key is close enough, any of your passengers can unlock their door as well. Now we have that bumper step. It's a deeper step and it's a taller step. It's got a nice tire tread-like pattern on the bottom, making sure it's slip resistant. That'll bring us around to talk about these new taillights, and we'll show you guys the new tailgate, which is pretty exciting. Now the taillights have been the victim of a lot of criticism. Some say it looks a little too reminiscent of some of the new Ford F150s. Personally, I can see the differences. I think it's something that blends in with the body of the truck really well. This is an incandescent taillight. It's not like the LEDs matching on the front. You have the 2 upper and lower. You've got the reflector lights, and of course your reverse in the middle. The biggest thing on the rear that I want to talk about here is the actual tailgate itself. It's got a lot of new features, a lot of new additions here. The Chevrolet embedded in the tailgate. That is completely new for the new gen. Right above that, you'll see your backup camera. This will give you a few different options for the trailers you might be towing, and we'll take a closer look at that once we hop in the interior. To pop this down, you no longer have a handle itself. It's more of a button, but it's also assisted, so it doesn't slam down. Now, a couple of cool things I want to talk about this bed, what Chevy is dubbing the Durabed. Number one being that this is made with a high quality, high strength steel on the bed flooring. The side body panels, as I mentioned before, are gonna be a steel paneling. You're also getting a lot more surface area on the floor for cargo storage. You're going from the previous generation's 53 cubic feet to 63 cubic feet. The sides of the bed has been increased by 7 inches, and that's what we're talking about here with our short box model. Another cool thing to point out is your tie-down opportunities. You have 12 individual tie-downs that are welded to your truck bed, each of which are rated for up to 500 pounds. You also have 9 individual movable tie-down portions as well. You also have the optional 110 to 120 volt power outlet. This particular LT model does not have that option. Instead, it's got a cover, a plastic cap. That really comes in handy for things like tailgating. The windshield's been framed up a little bit nicer than previous gens. It's also recessed a little bit into the trim. You see what kind of could resemble a spoiler coming down. And with all of that wrapped up for the exterior, why don't we go inside, talk about a lot of the interior changes, then we'll put the truck on the lift and talk about what's underneath. All right, the first thing I want to talk about in our interior is our key fob. It's a lot thinner, so it's a lot more comfortable to have in your pocket. You have the unlock and lock, of course, auto start, and then of course your tailgate drops. Your center console has this nice convenient pocket. I like to throw that right in there. Moving up from that to take a look at our steering wheel. It's a little bit of a redesign. You get an additional handle here at the bottom. Feels just a little sleeker and a little sportier to hold. On the left-hand side, we've got our cruise control settings and a knob that just goes up and down. Not every model has the heated wrapped leather steering wheel, so we have that button here. On the right-hand side of your steering wheel, we have the Bluetooth controls, the knob on the right here to control the center screen right between your gauges. Moving to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, we have an entirely new section to our Silverado. In the previous gen, we typically just had 2 knobs. You had one for the headlight controls and the other one to pop from 2-wheel to 4-wheel low and high modes. The 4-wheel controls are no longer there. What you're going to do is use these buttons underneath of a new knob. 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, auto, and then your final new button up here is your terrain mode. Terrain mode's all new, and it's gonna help you out in those extreme off-road situations that utilizes different low-end torque capabilities. Above that, we have a brand new knob. Left is gonna put you in tow haul mode. To the right, you're actually getting a new sport mode. That'll give you a different driving experience. You'll also get your cargo lamps, your headlights down low. Underneath of that is your new electronic parking brake. Shifting over to the center portion, another big ticket item for the interior is your push stop start. The rest of this center console has a little bit more of a redesigned touch. We have a 7 to 7.5 inch touchscreen, phone connectivity. It's got Wi-Fi and built-in Wi-Fi hotspot. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, built in. These plugs will definitely come in handy charging your phone. We have OnStar services. You have a camera that you can tap on just to see what's going on behind you. There's also 2 different modes for the backup camera. You have the parking backup camera, which of course, when you turn your wheels, will give you the guides. But if you're towing and hauling, and you can switch that over to the trailer mode. That'll give you a different set of guides to line up your trailer and make sure that is a-okay. So you have your controls for the AC, and because this is a premium model, that All-Star Edition package, again, you're getting the dual climate control. There's the auto stop feature. That is being built into a lot of the trucks nowadays. After a couple seconds of your truck being at a complete stop, it'll shut your engine off to save fuel or gas mileage. It will make a difference over time. This is something that not everybody is a fan of. A lot of guys hop in the truck and turn that right off. Moving down, we have a trailer sensor. You give that a pinch, your trailer brake gain shows up and you can alter that. Next thing is the center console. This is something that can pop upward, and you have 3-row seating up in the front of your truck. Now what I want to do is put this on our lift right behind the truck here, put it up in the air and show you guys what's going on underneath. We finally got our Silverado up in the air, and there's a couple of differences with this particular truck, but I wanted to point out some things that we would expect from other trim models that we're not necessarily seeing on our LT today. One of those would be the dual exit exhaust. Now the dual exit exhaust isn't a true dual system. Instead, it actually exits with 2 over-axle pipes behind your muffler there. Now that's new for the Silverado lineup. Unfortunately, this particular LT just has that single exhaust we've seen in the past, but it's got a nicer, wider, and larger chrome tip at the rear. Another thing that we don't have on the LT that are available on some other trim packages would be carbon composite springs, similar to that on Corvette models. They're tuned to be a little bit sportier, and they're lighter weight to shed some of the weight that we all know that Chevy has been aiming toward. One thing that we do have in our Silverado today is that high-strength steel-built frame. This is a lot more durable, and you can just see it right up on this lift. It's so much beefier toward the front end. It's thicker toward our cross members, which are made with that old steel we've gotten from previous gens. One of the other new additions to the Silverado that we do have on the LT here today is the all-new forged aluminum upper control arms that are going to replace some of those stamped options that we've seen in the previous gen. The all-new forged aluminum control arms are a lot sleeker, thinner, and lighter weight, and they have a lot of durability that we haven't seen in the past. Our rear springs are remanufactured to be a little bit sportier. Let's just put this down on the ground, take it outside. We'll talk about some of the other really cool features that we'll see out on the road. All right guys, so we're out here in our 2019 Silverado LT. I'm finally getting to take it on the road here and pulling this up to a stop here. Let's see how this thing pulls. Oh my, wow, this thing's got pickup. Woo. One of the big things I want to talk about to you guys, which we haven't really covered yet, is what's going on under the hood. This 2019 Silverado is still using that same 5.3 liter V8 Ecotec motor. It is actually labeled as the L84 instead of the L83. It is bumped up slightly in some respect. The dynamic fuel management is a little bit different than the previous active fuel management, which in previous gens would shut off up to 4 cylinders, allowing your Silverado to run essentially as a 4-cylinder. It was very effective in giving you just a small bump in gas mileage, you know. The dynamic fuel management system takes that one step further and has 17 different firing orders. That's insane. That's a whole new technology we haven't seen in a truck before. It's all new. It deactivates up to 7 of your 8 cylinders. It can deactivate a lot more than the previous active fuel management, so we're expecting a pretty significant change in how that makes your motor behave and the power that you're going to be given on highway speeds. A little bit less gas going into the engine. It kind of shuts off some of those cylinders to keep things under wraps. Now, one of the other big changes for the Silverado is the introduction of the 8-speed auto and a lot more of the trim packages than we've had before. I can feel the acceleration difference. It's pumping through these gears. It just feels happier. It feels like something that should have been in this truck all along. The 10-speed auto is completely new for the Silverado lineup. That is found only on high country models as well as the 6.2 liter V8s. The 8-speed automatic is available in the 5.3 like we have today. In the 2.7 liter turbo option, you can also pick up the 6-speed option in the 5.3 liter and the 4.3 liter V6, which is another option for the Silverado trim. You're actually given 8 different packages, 8 different powertrains that you can pick from. There's the 3-liter inline V6, there's a turbo diesel, there's the 2.7 liter V4. There's a lot of different options. Personally, I'm a big fan of that 5.3 V8. I like having that under the hood. I like the capacity for towing that it has. I like the power that it provides you, the torque you get. You're looking at about 355 horsepower along with 383 foot-pounds of torque, which is just about the exact same as the previous Ecotec We talked a lot about cargo space in the bed, but what we didn't touch on really was the increased amount of room in the back seats. You have miles of leg room, and it's gotten a little bit more leg room in the rear, which is great for passengers, but it's also good to give you that additional cargo space. I am just thoroughly impressed with what Chevy did with this truck. I also want to give a thank you and a special shout out to Patriot Chevrolet. Those guys really hooked us up with this truck so I can do a full review on it. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment below. Let us know what you like about the truck, what you don't like about the truck. I personally think it's one of the best on the road. Let me know what you think, and make sure that you're keeping it locked right here at AmericanTrucks.com.